I could do my best on this topic to try to find some neutral language, some really nice language on this issue, or many issues. Some people will ask me why I'm so harsh on certain topics. It's because I'm not worried about getting people to agree with me. It's nice. I want people to see the truth. I want to find people that are intelligent and see value in what I'm doing. But at the same time, I want to have impact. And there's a lot of strong, opinionated people in the tabletop role-playing game hobby. And when you speak neutral or soft, well, you might get a liked video. You might get many views, but you have no impact whatsoever. Things won't change over the years. Points won't be made that stick. People won't get where you're coming from, and their minds will not be changed at all. So let me be real with you. When it comes to crunchy tabletop role-playing games, they suck. Ooh, geez, are you going to keep listening? Am I speaking too harsh for you? They suck. I'll tell you why they suck. Because they're going to try to take care of everything to the point you almost don't need the game master. That person is a middle person between the book and the players. An AI or even a cockroach could replace the game master when you get to that point. And I see AI right around the corner, and I definitely do not want to support games that is going to have an AI easily applied to the game. And crunchy games are exactly that. The rules are all written out. Who cares if the person running it has any skill or talent? And nowadays, almost no game master does. Right? Very few. We have a lot of player game masters. People that shouldn't even be in that chair running the game because they don't really run the game. The game runs itself. That's what a crunchy game does. It runs itself. And players love it when a player game master is running the game because they can use the rules in the book to say, you're wrong, argue with you. But at one point there's going to be an AI and there's not going to be much arguing going on at all. Because those type of game masters that are like sort of part-time player game masters don't last long in the hobby. I'm a dedicated game master. I've been game mastering games, tabletop role-playing games since 1991. The game masters that are produced today, over 90% of them won't last 10 years. They'll flake out and go away. And why is that happening? Because a lot of games now are crunch heavy. And that means people with talent will avoid them. They don't want to get into a game where they expect to have some authority and have players be able to look at the book and say, the book is king over you. The book has authority over you. Well, it does. Well, here's the book. Have fun playing the game. Right? I'll go this way. I have skill and talent, but it gets wasted here because I can't apply it in this game. So you don't need my skill or talent for this game. A cockroach could run the game for you, or an AI. So you might be pleased with that outcome, but at one point there you'll find that there's very few people, humans, that want to run crunchy games. There's a whole history of this. This is why WotC flakes out on their DMs all the time. They produce DMs. Most of their DMs, over 90%, are gone. Gone. Flake out pretty quickly. Go back to any game where there's more authority given to the game master and talent and skill is required. And those are the guys that stay in long term. People with skill and talent to do this. Right? People that are just working for players, because that's what a crunchy game requires you to do. Not your skill and talent. You're a slave. You're not even going to be paid. It's work. It's not your thrill. You have a good time when you're able to participate in the way that you put your creativity into what's going on. I mean creativity that you want. And you want to have some control over it because you do a lot of work, a lot more than the players do. What happens? That's stripped away from you. Your passion is stripped away from you. The fun you could have is stripped away from you. And even if you start off with a little bit of fun, that won't last. That's why there's no long-term DMs being produced by WotC or just about any crunchy game out there. It's why outside of the crunchy D&D WotC stuff, most crunchy games flake out or don't have a big market because they constantly lose to people running the games. And guess what? If you're making PlayStation games and there's barely any PlayStations, you ain't going to last long. And WotC produces what I call part-time PlayStations. They're here for a minute and they're gone really quick. Right? That's what crunchy games do. When a game requires skill and talent, it brings people into the hobby. The people with talent and skill dedicate themselves to this as a craft, because they get to put something to it like an artist. They get to bring what they have to the thing. That's what keeps people in the hobby, running games for many years. Now you'll see that there's a lot more old school people that are still considered game masters than there are new school game masters in 2026. It's amazing. Games from the 70s and 80s and 90s still have more people that run games in this hobby than anything produced by the new school. It's like a flash flood. Oh, there's a lot of DMs at times that are game masters for different crunchy new school games, but they're here and that ocean just wipes out really quick. We go from an ocean to a desert in a few years. Doesn't take long. But there is a consistent, well-filled lake of old school game masters that stays that way and never dries up. It will with age. People will sooner or later move on. But the more we get away from that sort of light approach that the old school had, where it was more about skill and talent of the game master, well, that lake will dry up and there's no other lakes around to replace it. Nobody's coming in the same way to fill that up. The old school simply does not attract people the way it did many years ago, sadly. And light games don't seem to attract players that want to have more authority or say over the games. That's just how it is. That is just how it is. Crunchy games have a future with cockroaches and AI, not with people. Right? It's nasty gaming. It's unskilled, untalented people en masse trying to run the games for you. And players might be happy with that in short runs, but that's it. It's a lifeless hobby in 2026 in the new school. Soulless, lifeless, and empty. You see it, you feel it, and you know it. And even people in the new school understand this. They feel it and they know it. There is something that used to be here in the old school that is simply not here now. And everybody, and I mean everybody, realizes it, feels it, and knows it. And it won't matter how many movies WotC makes, or no matter how many things people put out here. It's short runs, all short-term thinking. Nothing long-term, because nothing lasts anymore. So, when you're out there promoting your crunchy game or the crunchy games that you like, go ahead, talk very highly about them, and degrade old school games that require skill and talent of the person that runs those games. But there's something that lighter form of gaming produces that the new school cannot copy and cannot produce. Sooner or later, new school will be filled with AI running the games for them. Crunchy means the game does the work, and you get a lot of flaky, mediocre people trying to run the games that are very happy to pretend to sit in a high chair they could not earn through skill and talent. They know they earn it because the book runs the game for them. They do next to nothing. And people are blind to it because people want what they want. They don't want what is good. But they definitely want what they want to be good. It just isn't. That's a sad reality they have to face. You can want something, but if it's just not supported, it won't be good. And that's the issue many people in the new school run into. And they do cry about it. They do acknowledge the lack of quality. They still want it, but they can't have it the way they want it. And it's just because it can't be supported that way. So in a way, there's a meet in the middle in the hobby where everybody, one side can't have it all their own way. And that's where a lot of people are. They're on the side where they want it their own way. And there's no more meeting in the middle for the hobby. People are selfish and greedy in this hobby on a scale I've never seen before. It's not about the group that gains together. It's about the individual people in the group. We're no longer a team. we're just individuals sitting at the table all trying to serve only ourselves. I refuse to play that. I refuse to go along with that. The game will always be about the group, the team, and there's a little bit of sacrifice. From that you can get greatness. You can't have it all your own way. The new school doesn't get that, and I don't think they ever will.